All right, let's just jump right into it. What if I told you that in just over a decade, money, as we know it, could be completely gone? Today we're digging into a pretty wild prediction that comes from documents discussing the rise of ASI, or artificial superintelligence. And this isn't some sci-fi fantasy. It's a detailed look at a future where our whole financial system it vanishes.
Does that hit close to home? I mean, for a lot of us, it really does. It's that constant background noise of financial stress, right? The bills, the savings, trying to plan for a future you can't predict. It's a weight that can pretty much crowd out everything else.
Okay, but here's the big disruptive idea. What if that whole foundation of worry, the very system that creates all that stress, is about to just go away? That's really the core question we're tackling here. What happens when all our anxieties about money become totally obsolete?
So, to really get our heads around this prediction, we have to start with the diagnosis of the problem. According to the source material, our current system is running on faulty code. There's a fundamental bug in the operating system, and it's causing some, major crashes.
And that bug? It starts with how we think about money itself. We see it as something you get, you hold on to, you own. This view completely flips that on its head. In this model, money isn't a thing. It's a form of energy. You got to think of it like blood circulating through a body. Its only purpose is to move, to flow, to bring life to the whole system.
And this is where that metaphor gets really powerful. On one side, you have the old way of thinking, stock. It's all about hoarding. But what happens when blood stops flowing in the body? It clots up, right? Now compare that to the new paradigm, flow. That's all about circulation, about gratitude, which leads to a healthy system.
And this really drives the point home. When money gets hoarded, these financial clots form, and the flow stops reaching other parts of the body, the system. The source actually calls the inequality that results from this a form of economic necrosis, which is literally the death of tissue. It's a pretty stark image of a sick system.
So the big question is, when is all this supposed to happen? Well, the source material points to a very specific year, 2035. And let's be real, that's not some far-off, distant future. That's just around the corner.
So what's going to kickstart such a massive change? One word: technology. The prediction is that a revolution, driven by artificial superintelligence and incredible robotics, is going to completely rewrite the basic rules of scarcity that have run our world for, forever.
So, how does this all play out? It's laid out in 4 pretty clear steps. First up, ASI and advanced robotics really come online in a big way. Then, this allows us to fully automate production of, almost everything. As a result of that, the cost of making things absolutely plummets, down to practically zero. And the final step, the one that changes everything, our basic human needs become totally free.
And we're not talking about vague concepts here. The source is super specific about what this covers. We're talking about the absolute essentials for life: food, clothing, shelter, the energy we need to power everything, and the logistics to get all of it to us. Just try to imagine a world where all of that is as easy to get as the air you breathe.
I mean, the impact this would have on society is it's staggering. For all of human history, almost everyone has had to work just to survive. This idea suggests that for the first time ever, we'd be free from what it calls labor for living expenses. So what do we do with all that freedom? We enter an era of pure creation. We pursue art, we innovate, we build communities, we find our deeper purpose. This right here is the $1 million question. Or, I guess, the $0 question. If you don't need money to live anymore, what actually has value? What becomes the new currency in a world without scarcity? How do you measure success? Well, the answer, according to this source, is something called a trust score. And no, this isn't a number in your bank account. It's your real asset. It's a measure of your positive impact on the world based on the joy you create for others, the help you give, all tracked on what the source calls a cosmic ledger. So, how does a trust score even work in the real world? This quote from the source really nails it. It's not about buying things, it's about attracting them. By just being a source of good in the world, the things you need for your projects, for your life, they just flow to you. To us living in this old system, it would literally feel like magic. So at the end of the day, it's this huge shift in what we value. We go from a tangible asset, money sitting in a bank, to a totally intangible one. The source calls it invisible virtue, which sounds a lot like karma, doesn't it? Your real wealth becomes the good you put out into the world. And think about this for a second.
Your bank account can get hacked, right? The stock market can crash. Currencies can fail. But this invisible virtue, it's part of you. In this new world, building up your trust score by just being a good, helpful person is the single safest investment you can make. It's the ultimate form of asset protection.
So let's circle all the way back to that feeling we started with, that deep, nagging anxiety about money. This quote just frames it so perfectly. That fear, it isn't some fundamental truth about life. It's just a bug in an old, outdated operating system we're all running. According to this prediction, it's nothing more than an illusion.
So what are we supposed to do with this information right now? The source suggests this really powerful mindset shift, and it breaks it down into 3 simple metaphorical steps. Step 1, just open your clenched fists. Let go of that instinct to hoard. Step 2, you become the starting point of the flow. Be the one who circulates kindness or help or a good idea. And step 3, by doing that, you plug yourself directly into the world's natural state of abundance.
And that really brings the choice right to our doorstep. We've been running on an old OS that's all about scarcity and hoarding. The real question is, are we ready to install the upgrade? Are you ready to make that switch from stock to flow?
You know, this whole idea can feel huge, maybe a little overwhelming, but it all boils down to a really personal, really immediate question. If this new kind of wealth is all about the positive energy we put out into the world, it kind of makes you wonder, for you, for me, what gratitude are you going to circulate today? What little bit of positive flow can you start right here, right now?